I saw this signature. And as I'm looking up, I have this little jewelry space that hangs down my wall. And inside of it is this pin that has a tassel. And I forgot that I put it there, and I put it there one day because I was kind of mindlessly cleaning up, and I didn't want to go all the way to where the little pin jar is. And today I was setting up a new type of session in my office, and I'm trying out group sessions where people who don't know each other can come in and we just counsel and do guidance together. And I'm thinking, how can I set this up well? So I made a form, and I had a mandatory space. Nobody will see but me. It's just, what are you struggling with most, so that I can give people the most out of that group session that I possibly can. And it had this feature I've never seen on my forms before. And it said signature. I was like, oh crap, I want to put a signature on everything now. Because I don't need you to sign that it's honest. There's just something about a signature that says, I'm serious. I want to do this work. I didn't put it there because I didn't want to scare anybody. But then I started to see a signature on a check. And I don't like to talk about stuff like this. So I'm like, God, will you confirm it for me? And God knows me, and I know how he comforts my spirit, right? Because he's like, now just always remember that, something that is signed can be spiritual. Something that is signed can also be physical. I'm like, okay, I feel better now. So God led me to Chronicles 3 and 4. Now, when I pray over people, especially when they do something kind for me, like when they send me a card, or when they give me a gift, or like even when they tithe into ministry, I will go and I pray the prayer of Jabez, because it is the quickest, most efficient prayer that I know. And I ask people to be returned like 10-fold or 100-fold for their kindness, like prayers. Like it all goes into this big Jabez box for me. And I'm an old-timey preacher, and I have to write down what I am going to preach to you only verse-wise. Because when somebody asks me where it's at, I'm going to be like, it's in there. And that's not good form. So I like to be able to have it there unless it just pops up in my spirit, so you could go home and study it yourself. So the prayer of Jabez is, oh, that you would bless me indeed. But I'm reading, and it's like the lineage. It's like lineage coming down from David. We get to Jabez. It says Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. His mother named him Jabez, saying, I gave birth to him in pain. Jabez cried out to the God of Israel. This is what he said. He said, oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me. Keep me from harm so that I will be free from pain. And God granted his request. That's it. That's the gist of Jabez. There's a wonderful book, and it made the New York Times bestseller list so many times over, because I don't remember who wrote it, but when they got in there, they're like, man, and God granted his request. That was it. It didn't even take a whole book. It was a paragraph. So here's what I wanted to tell you, is that it's coming in faster than you think. The peace you have is that it's already done. The peace you have, the no rush that you have when it looks like you should be in urgency, is it's already done. Maybe it is a physical check. I don't know. I'm a preacher. I want to tell you it's so spiritual. Because when I sign my name as a pastor, the most I sign my name is for 2 reasons. One, you got married and I had to sign your wedding certificate, and then I had to go to the court and fill out some papers. Or I'm signing a book if I'm on book tour, or if somebody orders a book and it's on my thing and not on a bookstore space. That's it. I run across my own signature sometimes at book collectors if it's out of print. And I open it up, and you know what my first thought is who got me to sign this, and then turn around and sold it. I'm going to start doing very carefully inscripted things so that when people turn around to resell them, I don't know who resellers play. You can always resell it when I sign it. But like, I'm just thinking about how both are important to me. My signature means a lot to me. If I put my signature on something, I have trouble and I struggle, and it's why we like to counsel you guys before you get married, because if I stand before God and I marry you off, I know it's not my fault. In my mind, in my spirit, in my heart, I know it's not my fault. But there's a part of me that's like, come on now. Like, and I've had that happen a few times. Like, and it's nobody's fault. But it's one reason, it's not just because we want you to be okay, but a part of it is also us going, I don't want to think about this. Like, I want to know that this knot is tied so good, and I know that I'm not the one that ties the knot. It's God, and it's the people, and I'm just there. But I would hope that I did my due diligence to do the best I could to bring a blessing to that space, or to counsel and consult them, or whatever the case may be. So if it is physical, and I'm just going to, I hate these things, but I really feel like there's a signature and it's going to show up in your mailbox. Like, it's going to show up in your mailbox. Like, it is just a piece of paper. And it's not a bad piece of paper. Maybe it's a check. Maybe it's a marriage license that you're going to sign. Maybe you're signing a nonprofit or opening a business, or maybe you're getting the loan that you need. Maybe you're signing papers for work. I don't know. I'm going to leave it in the hands of God. But the first thing I saw was a check. And then I started thinking about all the many ways we can sign things in the spirit. Like, you can co-sign with God's will for your life, And I always pray that I am in alignment with God's will for my life. God, help me to get on board with your idea, because I got a bazillion ideas. I'm a creative. I'm a writer and a journalist outside of ministry and pastoral counseling. And I could come up with a billion things, put them in a bucket, and give you a bazillion ideas. But there's a difference in a good idea and a God idea. And a God idea will forever weigh out a good idea. So I always pray that, Lord, help me to get on board with you. Like, if I don't even like the idea, because sometimes God will give us an idea and we don't like it, but we have a peace about it, or we know that it's the right way to go. And I'm telling you, it might not look the way you think it ought to look at first, but if it's God's idea, it's the best idea that you have never had. The best idea you never had. That's what I want to call this word. The best idea you never had is coming your way. And it's incoming. And the Lord is faithful. Thank you for letting this be long. I try not to make them long, except for if I'm on the tube or something. And if I am on the tube, hi, thank you for letting me be long here. The flow is a little long. Sometimes it takes a minute to get to that sweet spot. So the best idea that you never had is coming in. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. What I also pulled up with this was this freedom in Christ from Galatians 5. And it's the fruits of the Spirit, which are a check in the Spirit in themselves.